Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today, we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And specifically, what I want to talk to you guys about today is what's happening around our financial system. In my opinion, there's a lot of things happening in real time, and I think that the general public is kind of only focused on one thing. As we look at what's happening with the BRICS, and as we look at what's happening around the US dollar, it is no surprise that de-dollarization and a major pushback against the US dollar as well as the US economy is happening. For decades and decades and decades, we have utilized the US dollar as a financial weapon. And a lot of these nations are kind of tired of that. So what are they doing? Well, they are ditching the dollar and ditching the US financial system as a whole, meaning they are completely getting away from SWIFT as well. That is also why we are seeing new payment systems rising up from many areas around the world, specifically Russia, with China. And now, as we do look here, we are seeing 30 countries participate to ditch the US dollar as the global reserve currency. Now, reading this headline, reading these articles, it's very easy to make up this idea that, hey, the US dollar is dead. Now, the US dollar is not dead in the water just yet. And remember, no, I just said just yet. In my opinion, as we look at what's happening around currencies and as we do look at what's happening around the traditional world of finance, we are seeing a major step forward into the digital age. But we can't get there without some sort of, drastic event. Very similar to March of 2020, where we utilized the pandemic and COVID-19 as a play on to utilize these digital means of payments, meaning what we've seen from COVID-19 was the World Economic Forum and many government entities jumping on the idea that we no longer need to utilize fiat currencies. Most of the payments are being done online now, and they are also being done through digital forms of payment. So, do we really need, physical stores, and do we need physical money? They utilize it as an example to streamline this digital process. And of course, you can look at it any way you want. That is my opinion. But today, more than ever, everyone is looking at the US dollar and they just think that it's going to be a straight line down and that the US dollar is finished and that's done. We have heard many times that the US dollar was finished here, 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 and even today. So this has been an echo chamber. The biggest thing is that it's not going to be this easy to predict. For an example, I seen another article from Bloomberg, which says BRICS draws membership bids from 19 nations before summit. Now, it's very clear that yes, there's a pushback against the US dollar. The US dollar is losing a lot of steam. There's a lot of pushback against SWIFT. But does that mean that they are finished now, tomorrow, next week? No. I seen a video posted from Gold Telegraph, and even going back a few months ago as well, in March, this video was posted. This is President Xi telling President Putin back in March that change that hasn't happened in 100 years is coming, and we are driving this change together. This week, Janet Yellen warned that there would be a slow decline in the US dollar as the global reserve currency. This is going to be a slow process. Is it happening? Sure, it is happening. But is it going to be an overnight thing? No, I don't believe so. As we look at world reserve currencies, technically speaking, we are overdue for a new world reserve currency. The big question is, are we even going to see a world reserve currency going forward? Right? Most people are kind of confused when I say that. The big thing to me is that it's been 99 years. This article actually got posted. I don't know when this article got posted, but I'm pretty sure that this was from 2021. So as we do really kind of look at today, it's actually well overdue for a new world reserve currency, because the average currency span is about 94 years for world reserve currencies. So as we look at the US dollar, is it being threatened right now? I would argue yes, but also we need to understand why. It seems as though the US is sitting back and letting this happen. And I don't think enough people are really kind of looking at this and saying, well, why are they just sitting back and letting this happen? Well, in my opinion, it's to usher in a great reset. And most people are really kind of looking at the great reset narrative from the World Economic Forum. Again, we do see that they utilized COVID-19 here. And again, the main idea around COVID-19 was for them to utilize it to set forth this digital revolution. Now, with that, is this the same exact reset that they've been talking about forever that I'm talking about? Not necessarily. As we look at the world of finance, do I think that a world reserve currency is on its way, or a new one? No. I think that we are going to ditch world reserve currencies. How does that happen? It's very simple. Central bank digital currencies. They're already happening in real time. And I don't believe that we will see a world reserve currency from this. I don't think that we will see a one world currency as well as they do predict in biblical times. I actually look at CBDCs and I look at the global financial system as us rushing into this new world of finance, this digital age of finance, where we do have CBDCs. Now, am I pro CBDCs? No, I'm not. But I do think that this is their plan. In fact, I think with CBDCs, what we will see is a complete elimination of a reserve currency. And all of these nations will be in charge of their own financial journey. Meaning, if the US wants to destroy their economy, so be it. Let them. It doesn't pertain to any other nation. So they will be held responsible for whatever financial policies they have, whatever financial choices they make. And this would ultimately not only make every other nation completely separate from what the US does, but also a lot of efficiencies will be unlocked through this as well. Now, again, am I pro CBDCs? No, but they are happening. And it's no coincidence that they are happening as fast as they are. For an example, this year alone, and just recently actually, we start to see a major push from major nations outside of the US, but also even within the US. If you scroll through this, you could actually go through all of these places. You could actually click on these and look at the CBDC plans on what they are doing. There is a lot of movement here happening within 2023, which I don't know why this isn't. This list used to be a lot longer, so either they are removing things here, or something is happening here. But there used to be like 4 or 5 pages of just 2023 alone, which I'm sure if you guys watch my earlier videos that you guys are aware of this. So I'm kind of confused on why there's only 3 here. Maybe if I refresh it will actually fix it, but yeah, so it's only 3 that they're showing here. But I know that this is false. There used to be like 4 pages of just 2023 initiatives. But we could actually see that Russia is now in proof of concept. There's a few other ones in proof of concept as well. Iran's in proof of concept. Japan, South Korea. There's also a few other ones as well. Like I've been focused on this heavily because this has been a big deal that I think everyone needs to pay attention to, because it's happening in real time, whether you like it or not. But this is centered out on a great reset of the financial system. And again, like a lot of these articles that are talking about this, I think that they all get it wrong. They're really not. They're not focused on the digitization aspect of things. To me, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that, you know, there's only like crypto's going to be the only thing going forward. No. I think that crypto will play a vital role in the evolution of the financial system. And I think that this new reset of the financial system that is happening slowly but surely, in my opinion, will be centered out on CBDCs that will be driven by DLT rails. Digital rails are going to be here. Now, how does this all happen? I believe that we will see something usher it in. Very similar to how COVID-19 made this become a streamlined push. Again, this is all a stage, if you will. All of this is by plan. I believe that a lot of the things that we have seen in terms of the events in the last couple years were all leading up to this big move towards a reset of the financial system. It's the same reason why, if you look at what Janet Yellen is doing and the economic policy in the US, it kind of makes no sense. Like, nobody would actually be doing these things if you knew financial policy. And it almost makes you wonder, again, why are we having these individuals in power that seem to not understand financial policies or any sort of financial literacy either? Well, again, I think that it's all by plan to usher in this new system. And I think that this has been their plan for a while now. They just needed something to accelerate it. And COVID-19 was a perfect accelerant for this. But also, the next discussion and the next thing that could possibly push this all forward is one of the largest hacks. And here we have, is Ripple more secure than Swift? Swift hack from 2016 being discussed during Ripple presentation. This is a minute-long video talking about this. Again, this is kind of just a pro-Ripple discussion, but a lot of people have been focused on this Swift attack, and there's been a lot of posts coming out as well around this. For an example, this is Killnet claims they will launch a cyber attack against Swift Financial Network within the next 48 hours. I don't know if this is going to be the case. This was posted on June 14th. It is now June 18th. We did not see this global attack. A lot of this is nonsense. But I do think that we will see some type of large cyber attack within the systems to usher in this new digital age of finance that is much more secure. It's centered out on DLT that has that security layer to it, which again, I've focused on heavily. And it's because, again, when we look at the World Economic Forum, they're already utilizing this as an example, and why we need to prepare now. Listen closely to this video. It's about a minute and almost 2 minutes long.
The COVID-19 pandemic has shaken our economies and societies to the core and shown us how vulnerable we are to biological threats. In the digital world, similar risks are being overlooked right now. A cyber attack with COVID-like characteristics would spread faster and further than any biological virus. Its reproductive rate would be around 10 times greater than what we've experienced with the coronavirus. To give you an idea, one of the fastest worms in history, the 2003 Slammer sapphire worm, doubled in size approximately every 8.5 seconds, infecting over 75,000 devices in 10 minutes and almost 11 million devices in 24 hours. Fortunately, at least until now, cyber attacks have not impacted our health the way pandemics have, but the economic damages, and therefore the impact they have had on our daily lives, have been equal and sometimes even greater. You see, the only way to stop the exponential propagation of a COVID-like cyber threat is to fully disconnect the millions of vulnerable devices from one another and from the internet. All of this in a matter of days. A single day without the internet would cost our economies more than 50 billion US dollars, and that's before considering the economic and societal damages should these devices be linked to essential services such as transport or healthcare. As the digital realm increasingly merges with our physical world, the ripple effects of cyber attacks on our safety just keep on expanding at a faster pace than what we're preparing for. COVID-19 was known as an anticipated risk. So is the digital equivalent. Let's be better prepared for that one. The time is now.
So yeah, this is their video outlining this cyber attack with COVID-like characteristics. It's very interesting, right, to see a lot of these things from the World Economic Forum. This is one of the largest global organizations out there. And the reason why I bring this up is because, they've had these plans set in place for so long. There's a lot of individuals from the community that have done videos and studies on what the World Economic Forum was saying previously to COVID-19. And it's almost coincidental that they predicted this pandemic will happen, and there's a lot of problems tied to it, that we will see financial ruin and things like this. Like, this has been an organization that's been ahead of the time on a lot of this stuff, and it's very interesting now that they are making these types of videos. Now, this isn't from just recently. This is actually from, I want to say 2 years back or maybe a year or so back. But it would make sense to have this cyber attack on this scale happen to usher us in to this new financial system, a great reset of our financial system. And again, we need something on a large scale to do this. Very similar to COVID-19, which was on a global scale. And guess what? It happened, and they immediately jumped on it to utilize it as an example that we need to push forward on a digital currency, on digital forms of payments. Now we are seeing a drawback on in-person payments and in-person shopping. So now we need to, change hours of stores. We need to shut down stores. We need to do this. Like, it's a full-on restructuring of society. And that's exactly what the World Economic Forum has been predicting so long, for around like the fourth industrial revolution, if you will. So to me, do I think that the US dollar is completely doomed right now, that it's going to zero, no. Fiat currencies will be around forever. In terms of a new world reserve currency, it's hard to say that a world reserve currency will be around in the future, simply because, if we have a world reserve currency, how will it work in a CBDC system? It just won't. It won't. Because all of these CBDCs will be completely indifferent of a fiat currency, meaning a world reserve currency. Because all of them will be centered out on the nation's fiat currency. Like, for an example, the US, in terms of the digital dollar, will be utilizing the dollar itself, the digital ruble in Russia, you name it, right? So all of these nations will have their own central bank digital currency, and it wouldn't be reliant on the US dollar or whatever world reserve currency would be there at that time. But all of it will still need to be bridged. It will have to transact between one another. Interoperability will have to be crucial there. All of this is being solved through DLT and blockchain technology anyways. So as we look at what's happening, do I think that the dollar is doomed? No. Do I think that its world reserve currency standard or status, if you will, is at risk? Technically speaking, yeah, it is. But is it going to happen overnight? No. But I do believe that we are headed towards a great reset of the financial system. It's already happening in real time. We are seeing things moving very fast around this. We're probably still years away from this happening, but I do think that we need to prepare accordingly. And the reason why I don't believe that this BRICS situation and all this is happening right now is because this is not going to be easy to predict. This is not going to be, oh, hey, look at everyone knows it's happening, so that it's going to happen immediately. No. Nobody's going to be able to predict this. Nobody's going to be able to understand when this is going to happen. All we need to do, and all we can do, is follow the breadcrumbs and make up our own ideas on what's happening, because we cannot trust mainstream media, because mainstream media is not going to paint the picture for you ahead of time. But I do think that the plan is already in place. I believe that we are headed towards a great reset of our financial system, and it's only a matter of time until we do get there. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. This was up to you all. Have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are on this big world. That's been Nick. Peace out, guys.